parents just assume, oh, quick 2 right to the market is totally harmless.
Right. Even though the accident registries confirmed that 50% of crashes happen within that exact 2-kilometer radius of home. But honestly, the deeper barriers are what research would call semantic myths.
Semantic myths, like what?
Well, parents genuinely believe that putting a helmet on a child will stunt their brain growth, or, the sheer weight of it will literally snap a part of their soft neck.
I mean, honestly, playing devil's advocate, if you're looking at rural Cambodia, I kind of get the hesitation. It's like 35 degrees Celsius out there. Even if you scale down a standard adult helmet, isn't it genuinely just too heavy and absolutely suffocating for a toddler?
Yeah, that is a totally valid concern, and it's exactly why this nonprofit realized they couldn't comment on it. They had to start from scratch. So they engineered a child-specific helmet that meets rigorous European safety standards, ECD 22.06 certified, but it weighs just 280 grams.
Wait, 280 grams? That's lighter than a medium-sized mango.
Exactly. So the important is that soft neck, because it's actually anatomically safe for a toddler. That still leaves the intense drop of abuse.
Right. That's brilliant. While utilizing EPS foam, which is basically, engineered bubble wrap, it permanently crushes on impact, absorbing the kinetic energy. Our sources say it drops a fatal 750G impact down to a survivable 150.
Expected 750 Gs is instantly, but 100 Gs means that you're going to have a headache.
That is incredible. But wait, handing out helmets is not important, right? Like, nobody just have it sitting on a shelf.
Yeah, giving out free helmets results in zero long-term approach. So the plan violation strategy, they implemented parent-teacher safety development and actually set up video tracking certificates to monitor compliance.
That's serious.
Yeah, it's a strict no helmet, no rifle. But even with strict rules, a family making $150 a month isn't going to buy a new helmet if their kid is just going to outgrow it.
Right,
Exactly.
But the nonprofit solved that with continuous helmet trade-in programs. Kind of like a library card for safety. You just size up the helmet as your kid grows, perfectly eliminating that cost barrier.
And the macroeconomic ripple effect of eliminating that barrier is just staggering. A bulk $15 child helmet saves an average of nearly $90,000 in lifetime Medicare income costs.
Wait, $90,000 for a $15 helmet?
Yeah, it is a massive 47-to-1 return on investment. A 1,000 alone generates $2.5 million in safety income. So for you listening, this isn't just about helmets. This is really a masterclass in dismantling cultural barriers to implement life-saving behavior change.
Absolutely. So think about your own local community. What essential safety or health measures are you simply because of unchecked carelessness or minor physical inconvenience? Are we still in some way strapping our kids to the roof of the car just because it's the easy done? So imagine you're buckling yourself securely into the driving car, right? You check the mirrors, make sure you're perfectly safe, and then
Yeah, that is a terrifying image. I mean, it's completely unthinkable.
right. Totally.
They check the brakes.
Well, that's becomes an everyday reality. Like in Cambodian cities, 85% of the motorcycles are considered child helmet usage. It drops to below 1%.
Also, parents protecting themselves, but basically leaving the kids close.
So today, welcome to our deep dive. We're looking at the research and the action plan for Kids Health Inclusion, a nonprofit trying to solve this massive pediatric safety gap. Okay, so let's unpack this. Why are your kids unprotected?
Well, the answer to that, we really have to look at the fatal intersection of pediatric biology and some deeply ingrained cultural misconceptions. Because biologically, kids just aren't small adults. Their skulls are thinner, the gravity is higher.
Oh, so in a sudden stop, basically it just takes over. Like they're top heavy, so they get propelled.
Right, exactly. And when that impact happens, the medical infrastructure just isn't there to save them. The whole percent of injured kids in these rural areas actually reach hospital within the golden hour.
The golden hour, that's that critical 60-minute window post-trauma where medical intervention actually saves life.
Yeah, exactly. So primary protection, exact moment of impact is really their only lifeline.
But we still see mass resistance from parents. Like our sources point to this short trip fallacy, where parents just assume, oh, quick 2-kilometer playing devil's advocate here, looking at rural Cambodia, I kind of get the hesitation. It's like 35 degrees Celsius out there. Even if you scale down to isn't it genuinely just too heavy and absolutely suffocating for a toddler?
Yeah, that is a totally valid concern, and it's exactly why this nonprofit realized they couldn't just shrink and build up. I mean, they had to start from scratch. So they engineered a child-specific helmet to rigorous European safety standards, ECE 22.06 certified, but it weighs just 280 grams.
Wait, 280 grams? That's like lighter than a medium-sized mango.
Exactly. So it completely dismantles that myth because it's actually anatomically safe for a toddler. But, you know, that's still pretty intense stuff that we want.
Right, so how would they fix that?
Well, they built in this passive tropical chimney ventilation system. Since hot air naturally rises, right, the air ducting lets the heat escape out the top and back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that creates a back effect that actively pulls cool air in over the scalp all the way around.
That's brilliant. All while utilizing the PSO, which is basically engine to permanently crush them, absorbing magnetic energy. Our sources say it drops a fatal 750 G impact down to a survivable 150 feet.
Right, and to put that in perspective, 750 Gs is instantly fatal. 150 Gs means your kid might have a headache, but they're going home for dinner.
That is incredible. Handing out helmets doesn't always work, right? Like, they'll just end up sitting on a shelf.
Yeah, historically, just giving out free helmets results in zero long-term behavioral change. The plan requires a strict behavioral strategy. They implemented parent-teacher safety coverage and actually set up video tracking in school gates to monitor compliance.
Wow, video tracking, that's serious.
Yeah, it's a strict no helmet, no ride rule. But even with strict rules, you know, $150 a month isn't going to buy a new helmet if your kid is just going to outgrow it.
Right, thanks there is huge. But the nonprofits all have a continuous helmet training program, which is kind of like a library card, just deciding strictly eliminating that cost.
The macroeconomic ripple effect of eliminating that area is staggering. A whole $15 child fund saves an average of nearly $90,000 in lifetime benefit.
$90,000 for
Yeah, it's a massive 47 to 1 year on investment. A $1,000 loan generates $1.25 million in socioeconomic value. So for you listening, this isn't just about helmets. This is really a master dismantling cultural barriers to implement life-saving behavioral change.
Absolutely. So think about your own local community. What essential safety or health measures are we currently failing to adopt simply because of unchecked cultural myths or, minor reasons? Are we still in some way strapping our kids to the roof of the car just because it's the way to them? So imagine you're buckling yourself securely into the driver's seat of your car, right?
Yeah, that is a terrifying image.
Right, totally. But when we shift from 4 wheels to 2, well, that scenario actually becomes an everyday reality. In Cambodian cities, 85 motorcycles like that. Child
Parents protecting themselves, but basically leaving the kids completely exposed.
Exactly. So today, welcome to our deep dive. We're looking at the action plan for Jim's Helmets, which is a nonprofit trying to solve this massive pediatric safety gap. Okay, so let's unpack this. Why are parents leaving their kids unprotected?
Well, to answer that, we really need to look at the intersection of pediatric biology and some deeply ingrained cultural misconceptions. Because biologically, kids start small adults. Their skulls are thinner, and their center of gravity is disproportionately higher.
Oh, so in a sudden stop, it just takes over. Like they're top heavy, so they get propelled heavier.
Right, exactly. And that impact happens. The medical infrastructure just isn't there to save them. Like only 11% of injured kids in these rural areas actually reach hospitals within the local area.
But golden hour, that's that critical minute window post-trauma where medical attention is required.
Yeah, exactly. The primary protection at the exact moment of impact is really their only lifeline.
But we still see medical resistance from parents. Like our sources point to the short trip fallacy, where parents just assume, oh, quick 2-kilometer ride to the market is totally harmless.
Right, even though the accident registries confirm that 50% of crashes happen within that exact 2-kilometer radius from home. But honestly, the deeper barriers are what researchers call somatic myths.
Somatic myths of what?
Well, parents genuinely believe that putting a helmet on a child will stun their brain, or, the sheer weight of it will literally slot their soft neck.
I mean, honestly, playing devil's advocate, if you're looking at rural Cambodia, I kind of hesitation. It's like 35 degrees Celsius out there. Even if you scale down a standard adult home, isn't it genuinely just too heavy and absolutely suffocating hot work?
Yeah, that is a totally valid concern, and it's exactly why this nonprofit realized they would just shrink the bill up and they have to start from scratch. So they engineered a child-specific helmet that meets rigorous European safety standards, ECE 22.0 certified, but it weighs just 280 grams.
Wait, 280 grams? That's like lighter than a medium-sized mango.
Exactly, so it completely dismantles that soft neck bit because it's actually anatomically safe for a toddler. But, it needs the intense tropical heat problem.
Right, so how did they fix that?
I think I'm onto something here.
So when you think about high yield asset, probably for real estate, or maybe like a fixed stock, right? Definitely don't picture $25 plus. But, well, our mission today is to look at how simple, safety-certified pediatric camera generates this massive 47-to-1 economic return.
It's just a staggering number.
It really is. So when you think of a high-yield asset, you probably picture real estate, or maybe like a tech stock, right? You definitely don't picture a $25 piece of trust. But welcome to today's deep dive. We're unpacking a really fascinating stack of economic research and project plans for an initiative called Jim's Helmets in Cambodia. And our mission today is to look at how a simple, safety-certified pediatric helmet generates massive 47-to-1 economic return on investment.
It's just a staggering number.
It really is. I mean, that is $1,175 in lifetime economic value per child for you keeping track at home.
Yeah, and it completely shifts how we are essentially evaluating it as a financial.
It's like high finance, but with bicycle. But let's unpack this math, though, because 47-to-1 sounds, I don't know, almost too good to be true. I imagine avoiding the immediate hospital.
Yeah, that direct medical savings is really where the math begins. So the research looks at data from major safety nets in Cambodia, places like Hampolopha and Calmet hospitals.
Okay.
And wearing one of these certified helmets reduces severe head injury by 70%.
Wow, 70.
Right, so by physically absorbing the impact, the helmet absorbs a massive financial shock to the healthcare system.
Drastically cutting the costs of, emergency room visits, units, neurosurgical rehab, all of that.
Exactly, all those immediate costs.
I understand the medical things, but surely avoiding one ER trip doesn't equal a full $1,175 return. That math still feels, well, slightly generous.
A hospital bill is really just the tip of the iceberg here. The real financial damage happens when you look at how families actually pay for that.
Oh, right, because they might not have the cash on hand.
Right, in rural Cambodia, a catastrophic medical
Then they're not going to.
zero savings. So to cover it, they resort to informal medical planning.
Which I assume might be that here.
Well, they come with crushing interest rates, often over 30% annually.
30%. Wow, so a short-term benefit to the generation.
It does. That is what economists call preventing that initial head injury stops it against the
Because without that debt, families aren't forced to sell off their farming land.
and they don't have to go over simply out of school to pay off the loan either.
So that helmet isn't just protecting the child wearing it, it's literally defending the family's entire economic foundation.
Then they
Still,
can't pay
though, I
for
mean, a
school.
family surviving a debt crisis doesn't quite get us to that massive lifetime value number. There must be a long-term play.
Yeah, there is.
So one kid gets hurt, and then all their kids have to be pulled out of school.
By preventing a traumatic brain injury, it preserves that child's ability to fully participate in the workforce from age 18 all the way to retirement at 65.
I see.
So the research maps out the net present value of those individuals, essentially calculates what decade of human wages are actually
That's how it's 47.
back to
Which makes the child's future labor act like a 40-year human capital bond. You invest $25 today, and it pays uninterrupted in economic productivity for decades.
That's a great analogy. And public health economists add one more layer to this calculation using a metric called DILYs, or disability adjusted life years.
Daylights, okay.
Yeah, it quantifies the economic value of a healthy, pain-free life.
But how do you put a hard dollar amount on a life?
Well, using World Health Organization standards, they look at the country's economic baseline. So Cambodia has a nominal GDP per capita of roughly $2,000 a year.
That makes sense.
If the helmet preserves a 60-year lifespan, you simply multiply that $2,000 by 60, which generates $120,000 in overarching economic value for society.
Oh, wow. And I noticed in the research stack, it calculates these long-term wages specifically in U.S. dollars. I assume that's a deliberate hedge against local currency inflation.
It is, yeah. The Cambodian real can experience some volatility.
Right.
So by locking the calculations into a virtual currency like the USD, the initiative ensures the math remains bulletproof for their 6-month research timeline.
Which makes it incredibly convincing for international donor agencies, right?
Exactly.
It's just a brilliant application of impact economics. It takes fundamentally an emotional, philanthropic, plea, asking people to help save children's lives, and backs it up with undeniable hard math.
It really does. It translates human empathy into a financial language that institutional donors understand perfectly.
It really makes you evaluate the world around you differently. Brings me to a final thought for you to ponder.
Ooh, this is a good one.
If a $25 piece of plastic and foam yields a 47-to-1 return by preserving human capital and preventing debt traps, well, what other everyday low-cost preventative measures are we severely undervaluing in our own lives? Just because we haven't mapped out their true economic impact.
Definitely something to think about.
Keep that in mind. Next time you use a safety device, you might just be looking at the highest yield asset in the room. So when you think of a high yield asset, you probably picture real estate, or maybe like a tech stock, right? You definitely don't picture a $25 piece of plastic and foam. But welcome to today's deep dive. We are unpacking a really fascinating stack of economic research and project plans for an initiative called Jim's Helmets in Cambodia. And our mission today is to look at how a simple, certified pediatric helmet generates this massive 47-to-1 economic return on investment.
Which is just a staggering number.
It really is. I mean, that is $1,175 in lifetime economic value per child. So keeping track at home.
Yeah, and it completely shifts how we view safety here. We are essentially evaluating this helmet as a financial instrument.
It's like high finance, but with bicycle. But let's unpack this math, though, because 47-to-1 sounds, I don't know.
It's like this.
I imagine avoiding the immediate hospital trip is a big part.
Medical savings.
It's like the
really
seatbelt.
fast.
They mentioned
So
it
the
was
research looks at data from major safety nets in Cambodia. Places like Kapalova and Calmet.
Okay.
And wearing one of these certified helmets reduces severe head injury by 70%.
Wow, 70.
Right, so by physically absorbing the impact, the helmet absorbs a massive financial shock to the healthcare system.
Drastically cutting the, emergency room visits, intensive care units, surgical rehab, and all that.
Yeah,
There
all
is
those
none.
immediate costs.
I understand the medical savings, but surely avoiding one shark trip doesn't equal a full $1,175 return. Still feels, well, slightly generous.
Right. The hospital bill is really just the tip of the iceberg. The real financial damage happens when you look at how families actually pay for that emergency care.
Oh, right, because they might not have the cash on hand.
Right, in rural and catastrophic medical bill often hits families who have literally zero savings. So to cover it, they resort to informal microfinance loans.
Which I assume have pretty bad terms.
Well, they come with crushing interest rates, often over 30%.
30%. Wow, so a short-term medical crisis instantly becomes a generational concern.
It does. That is what economists call the poverty multiplier effect in action. Preventing that initial head injury stops a devastating chain reaction.
Without that debt, families aren't forced to sell off their farming land to make payments.
Exactly. And they don't have to pull older siblings out of school to go to work to pay off the loan.
So I don't think it's just protecting the child wearing it, it's mending the family's entire economic foundation.
It really is.
Still though, I mean, a family surviving a debt crisis doesn't quite get us to that massive lifetime value number. There must be a long-term play here, right?
Yeah, there is. The largest
additional debt because of the motorbike. And then they ran into the government. Shit, this goes deep. This goes really deep. Generational debt. The kids that they shouldn't wear helmets. The kid has to go to the hospital, and then the family has to sell their land to pay for the hospital bills. Holy shit, that's how you the world. Through the banks. Good Lord. Good Lord. but the governments get them into the motorbike accidents. And then they have to sell their government.
We've got a really fascinating stack of sources in front of us today for this deep dive, like macroeconomic research, articles, and health data from places like the World Bank and UNICEF.
Yeah, a lot of.
It is. And our mission today is to uncover this highly surprising economic chain reaction in Cambodia, where, well, a single motorcycle crash permanently destroyed a healthy child's education.
Right, it's a very fragile thread, honestly. A child's educational future can literally hang by a helmet chin strap.
Okay, let's unpack this, because, we are going to explore how a simple $25 object can prevent an $82,000 financial disaster.
Completely wild until you look at the math.
Exactly, but to understand the power of that $25 object, you first kind of have to understand the devastating $2,500 problem it solves, right?
For sure. So let's look at the financial reality of the rural families. They're typically earn, maybe about $150 to $250 a month.
Wow.
Yeah. But if a child is in a motorcycle crash without a helmet, emergency neurosurgery, and specialized care for a severe head injury, it's between $1,500 and $2,500.
I want you to just imagine that for a second. Imagine checking your mail today and getting a surprise medical bill that equals your entire gross salary for the next 16 months.
All payable up front, too.
Right, payable up front. You have absolutely no insurance safety net to catch you. Like zero.
Yeah, economists might call this a severe medical shock because these families, well, they need that $2,500 essentially by tomorrow to save their kid's life. So they.
And if we look at the research in 2017, the Cambodian government actually accidentally made this exact scenario worse, didn't they? They tried to help poor borrowers by capping microfinance interest rates at 18%.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is the intended consequence of that exact policy. Because the government capped what lenders charge, the legal interest rate just wasn't high enough to cover the high risk of a poor borrower defaulting.
Right, the math just stopped working for the lenders.
Exactly. So lenders essentially packed up for the cities, which leaves these desperate families, ones sitting in a neuro ICU with an injured child, with nowhere official to turn.
So they're forced into the shadows?
Borrowing from informal village lenders known as poor. And these unregulated lenders charge up to 5% a month, which compounds to an effective annual interest rate of like 79.5%.
That is just...
And worse, they demand physical possession of the family's land titles as collateral.
So your farm is on the line. Your cash flow is instantly destroyed. Families have to immediately slash expenses just to survive, which sadly leaves the sibling.
They pull their healthy children out of school.
So what does this all mean? Because I'm genuinely stunned the logic here. If a family is drowning in debt, why pull a kid out of public school? Isn't public primary education technically free in Cambodia? Like sending them to school is the cheapest place to keep them during the day, right?
It's a really vital point you're making because quote-unquote free education.
Everybody told me they have to stay.
Oh, right. Like what?
You have to buy uniforms and shoes, which run $15 to $25 a year. Books, the daily gasoline for the family scooter to get them there.
Right. That definitely adds up.
To a family paying nearly 80% interest.
And then they get injured going.
Saving $30 a month by keeping a child home is a survival necessity.
And for the older kids, the 12 to 16-year-olds, they aren't just kept home, are they?
No, they are sent to work in places like brick kilns or construction sites to help pay off that medical debt. The dropout rates actually jump 30% after a severe family.
That's just devastating.
It really is. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the math of this tragedy is staggering. A primary school dropout in this economy earns about $45,000 over their entire lifetime, mostly in, manual labor.
Compared to a high school graduate.
A graduate earns around $125,000. So you take that lost $80,000 in lifetime earnings, add in the thousands in predatory loan interest.
That's what I used to make in a year.
$82,250 in a family loan.
You're telling me a piece of plastic prevents an $82,000 loss?
That is the solution. Yeah. A specific safety certified model distributed by NGOs, which costs about $25.
Wow. It completely reframes how we look at this. It's not just charity, it's literally a 47-to-1 macroeconomic investment.
Absolutely.
And this matters to you wherever you're listening from because it perfectly illustrates how health, finance, and education are just inextricably linked. Like, you really can't isolate one from the other.
For sure. But that raises an important question, though. If a simple $25 helmet is actually an education retention tool,
Wait, yeah. What other basic health interventions are secretly the ultimate economic and educational shields?
exactly.
It's definitely something to think about the next time you see a seemingly simple solution to a really complex problem.
The largest chunk of that economic gain actually plays out over the next
50 years.
By preventing a traumatic brain injury, you preserve that child's ability to participate in the workforce from the age of 18 all the way
Not
to
only that, but they get to live their life.
I see.
So the research maps out the net present value of those earnings.
Even if it's not about
Essentially,
money.
they're calculating what decades of future wages are actually worth in
It
today's
is
money.
just the right thing to
Factoring
do.
in Cambodia's expected GDP growth.
Even if
Which
it's not
makes the
about the
child's
money.
future labor act like a 40-year human capital bond. You invest $25 today, and it pays good dividends in economic productivity for decades.
That's a great analogy. And public health economists add one more layer to this calculation using a metric called DILYs, or disability adjusted life years.
Delays, okay.
Yeah, it quantifies the economic value of a healthy, pain-free life.
But how do you put a hard dollar amount on a pain-free life?
Well, using the World Health Organization standards, they look at the country's economic baseline. So Cambodia has a nominal GDP per capita of roughly $2,000 a year.
Okay, that makes sense.
If the helmet preserves a 60-year lifespan, you simply multiply that $2,000 by 60, which generates $120,000 in overarching economic value for society.
Oh, wow. And I noticed in the research that the plan calculates these long-term wages specifically in US dollars. I think that's a
You close your eyes and press a button.
Like a good goal.
I have such fascinating things.
They might. They might.
I fascinating things.
Let's go downstairs.
What's up, buddy? What's your name? Say it one more time. Can I hear it again? It's Jim. Can I shake your hand? What's your name? Nina Moon. Okay, I don't think I'm saying that correctly. My name is Jim. How old are you? 10? 8 years old. I am 35. 35. No, not 33. How old are you? You're 8 years old. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, no. 33. Oh, 13? No, I don't think we're understanding. And, is this your shop? Is this your house?
Get on the bed.